Special shout out to all my patrons.
Yellow.
Yellow.
Hey, do we have to just pick one of these, or can we talk about a few different ones?
Can talk about whatever ones you want, man.
Okay, cool. Cause you got some good ones up here. All right, so I actually wanted to go ahead and talk about the don't spank your kids. So I do agree, right? You shouldn't spank your kids, but I noticed that you said the other form would be maybe taking away their toy and stuff like that, or something they enjoy.
Loss
I
of
honestly
privileges is a way of behavior correction. I don't think it's the best way, but it is a way.
Oh, okay. So you don't think it's the best? Okay. The reason I'm bringing this up because I noticed people don't really talk about the other like punishment that they have. I feel like those also have negative effects. I noticed people talk about like spanking, which I can agree that that can also be bad for the child, but taken away, for example, can literally have an effect of which I think the reaction is actually way worse than spanking a child, if I'm being honest.
You think that the
Depending on
child's
how old you
reaction is
are.
worse?
Yeah, depending on how old you are. Maybe like if you're let's say let's say you're 10 years old, right? And you get your phone taken away. Like that reaction is probably gonna be worse than if you spank them. They're gonna be mad. It kind of go
Well,
on,
they're gonna
which
throw
is
a
why I think it's
tantrum,
not
but
really
there's a difference
effective.
between throwing a tantrum and like having adverse behavioral effects. So like them throwing a tantrum, I would say is probably better than them like forming levels of anxiety, them getting them enacting aggression more on their end. Like I would take the tantrum probably like any day of the
So
week.
you don't think it could have any negative effects emotionally if you take something that they truly care about? Because I mean,
Not to the level that spanking does. No.
we use the analogy of like you wouldn't hit a person like an adult, which I agree, right? So shouldn't do it to a child, but you also wouldn't take something from an adult if they did something wrong. That would be kind of crazy.
Well, that's not true.
Nor would you,
We literally take like freedom from adults when they do something wrong.
but you wouldn't do that to somebody you love. That's what I'm saying. Like this is that analogy you're bringing up is more so for someone that you like in a relationship, right? Someone that you truly
Grab
love, you
Rusty
would
Lake
not you
Hotel.
wouldn't
You'll
put
be
your hands on
hooked.
them, as well as you wouldn't take something away, or you wouldn't lock them in a room, or give them a timeout. Like these are things that I feel like doesn't really doesn't really make sense the most to me, right? So I'm actually curious on what you feel like is the best form of punishment for a child.
I don't necessarily know that children have to be punished, especially when they're at an age where they're learning right from wrong. I think it's better to actually redirect them and provide them with other activities and give them time by themselves to calm down and learn how to regulate their emotions. I actually think that's probably the better thing to do.
Okay, so you, like positive reinforcement is what you mean, like something like that.
Not positive reinforcement, like redirection. So, for example, if
Mm.
I have a child who's like throwing things across the classroom, I may redirect them with a task because children like to be helpful, and children like to they have a really big. I don't want to say they like praise, but children really like to um get on the good side of adults that are in their life. So if we Oh my god, what did I just do? What the fuck? Hold on a second. What the fuck did I just do, bro? Bro, what the fuck? Oh, bro, someone tell me why Steam just did this. Oh, here we go. Jesus Christ. What was I saying? So if we make it so that we redirect them with a task, son of a bitch. If we redirect them with a task, they're more likely to stop doing the thing you don't want them to do.
Okay, so I see what you're saying, right? So let's say that um they just continue doing like they don't listen to you. They think, okay, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to do this, right? What would then because you have to have some kind of
And then you keep
consequence.
going.
I
You
do
keep
agree
trying.
to some extent. I do agree to some extent of like really trying to like tell them what they did wrong and then trying to like kind of give some kind of um, positive effect to for them, just so it's not like really hurting their feelings or doing anything like that. But I feel like eventually it's inevitable that there has to be some kind of consequence. So I'm kind of talking more so that, if you know what I'm saying.
Why does there has to have to be a consequence?
Like if they go to an extreme, which for example, they refuse to listen to you. Like it's just not even something that you can like. You're saying like they're not going to listen to you, right? You say you throw it, they throw something, and then you say you give them another task, but they say I don't want to do this task. F you, right? Like, like they get
Then they're
super
clearly in
aggressive.
a
And they,
heightened level of their emotions. They need to sit
Yeah,
and let their
sub on
emotions
Twitch,
regulate.
nice.
Hey, thank you for the sub shadow to lose. I don't know how to pronounce that. But thank you. Yeah, they're clear.
so you
They're not in a state. Even if they're in that state, they're not in a state that spanking them is going to do anything. All spanking is going to do is keep them in a heightened state. It's not helping
no
them
no I agree.
learn to
Spanking is
regulate
not
their
no.
emotions.
All right, so hear me out. So spanking, I agree, is wrong. I'm agreeing spanking is wrong, but I'm also saying that
Okay.
other forms of people consequences that you know taking things away, time out. I think these can be wrong as well because when I kind of think back, right, my biggest like memory in terms of like punishment, right, was when I was like older, like I was in like middle school, and I couldn't like I got punished, right? I didn't do well in school. So my form of punishment was I can't play the game, right? And that was for like a month. So I remember that super vividly. And that was like something that I feel like clearly did something for me to remember so vividly because that was something that I was really depressed. I couldn't play with my friends. I also couldn't leave the house to go play outside. So that was something that I really remember more. So I feel like these different things also have negative effects, but people don't really bring it up, which is weird to me.
Wait, your
So I'm
negative
just trying to see
effects where you were upset?
negative effects that I was depressed because I couldn't like go out. I couldn't. I was basically grounded, right? What I'm saying. I was grounded, so I couldn't go outside. I couldn't play games. I couldn't do anything like necessarily fun because that was like the punishment. So that for me had a negative effect on me because I was depressed, and that punishment to me was way worse than when I actually got spanked.
Bro,
And I think the
come
spanking
on,
doesn't actually
bro.
do anything.
Come on.
Wait, so you're telling me that the spanking is worse? You like if you had a choice as an adult right now, right? You can go back in time. Well, I don't know how bad you guys spanked. Mine was like a few pops in the bottom. And that was it, right? I would have taken that to getting grounded for like a whole month personally. But do you say you would rather get grounded for a whole month
I
for
don't
you?
think
Would
even
you say that?
grounding at a young age like that is effective. I don't even think that's
Okay, so you agree
effective.
both are effective. Well, that's
But I'm
kind of
not
my
going to sit
point.
here and say grounding has the same negative effects as spanking. They're not even close.
I think it's still a negative effect though. It's not something that I would even recommend as an alternative, in my opinion. It's not. It's just like comparing the whole thing of like which crime is worse. Sure, a crime is worse, but a crime is still a crime. You see what I'm saying? So it's not an alternative in my eyes.
Was there another topic you wanted to talk about?
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. The next one was the abolish police and prisons. All right. So this one, I was listening to what you were saying, and you're saying your definition of prison is different than what it actually says. So
I
how
explained
can
that
someone?
in the context of America, prisons are a specific thing. And when you remove slavery from that system and involuntary work, that thing isn't the same thing, especially when you add on levels of care.
I hear what you're saying, but you're saying that the sense of like slavery and involuntary work, but the term what prison means is just a place where people are held like
Yeah,
for the crime.
you're just appealing to authority right now. You're saying
Which
because
okay,
the dictionary says that this is what a prison is, this is what a prison is, without critiquing my objection to that.
but how? That's what how can I say this is not really valid and go by your definition if that's the definition everyone goes by?
You can explain it in any critique my reasoning for why I think it's incorrect. But a critique of my reasoning isn't just saying the original thing again. I'm saying prisons are different because of A, B, and C. You're saying, but they're prisons. And I'm saying, well, they're different because of A, B, and C. And you again just say, because they're prisons. Critique reasonings A, B, and C if you have a critique of them. But if your only critique is that my definition doesn't match with what the dictionary says, that's just an appeal to authority. You're saying the dictionary definition is 100% right. It doesn't matter the cultural context, it doesn't matter the historical context. It only matters what the dictionary says, which I would just disagree.
The thing is, though, I'm trying to understand what you're saying, right? You're saying that there's different meanings for what prison is, right? In terms of like America prison, and then the other one you're talking about Norway, but there's still prisons, right? There's still prisons.
I'm
Like the guy,
saying
other guy.
based on the historical and cultural context of
Yeah,
what
I mean, sure. Like,
imprisonment is and what prisons are in America, that if we remove the aspect of slavery, if we remove the aspect of inhumane care and we replace it with care, rehabilitation, and things like that, I believe, based on the context, that we no longer have a prison. We have some
what do you have?
completely new third thing.
What would you call that then?
I would probably call it a rehabilitation center or a care center.
Okay, because that's what I'm saying. It's okay. So you think people who, for example, are mass murderers that kill like a bunch of people, you think putting them in a rehabilitation center is like essentially you're saying like to treat them and then eventually have them to come out, or
If they have the ability
mm,
to control their impulses,
mm,
or if they have the ability to remove those impulses and no longer have those impulses, why shouldn't our end goal be to get them reintegrated back into society? If they're no longer a danger to themselves or the people around them.
okay, I hear what you're saying, but it, you're still explaining, even though you're trying to change the word, it is still considered a prison. Even removing all the things that you said, where it's no longer slavery, it's no longer involuntary work. The term, that's what I'm trying to say. The term of it, it's someone that committed a crime and they held in the building. That is that is for their crimes they held in this specific building. That is a prison. That's what it is. Do you disagree with that?
Yes. I've explained why I
What?
disagree with it.
But you said okay at first because what you were saying is that the term can mean different meanings because America prison is different than, for example, Norway prison because we have the slavery system like and then the involuntary work. But if you remove that, it's no longer prison. But I'm saying that's not even what prison means, right? Prison in of itself literally means a building that is
Yes,
for
that's
criminals to
what the
be.
dictionary definition of prison is. That's what you're
Even
saying
you
is
agree
prison.
that's what it means, though.
What?
That's
No, I don't.
how do you how do you
I've
disagree with what I
literally
just said?
already said that in America, prisons are very specific things based on our history, based on the culture our country has engulfed itself in, based on the systems that run the criminal justice system. I believe that in America, prisons have to be basically plantations. And I believe that when you remove that aspect and replace it with rehabilitation, you now have a completely new thing that is not operating in the way American prisons were intended to operate. Thus, it is no longer a prison in America.
So
Do you consider rehab
uh,
centers prisons?
no, because they're not criminals. That's what I'm saying. Because of the word criminal.
Wait, so what
The,
about all the
that
people in jail that aren't criminals?
I mean, that's a whole different topic right there. I don't think it should be in
So
jail then.
is it
But
just not jail for them? It's jail for everybody else?
it's I mean, wait, are you saying people who are like they got done wrong and they shouldn't be in
At
jail, or
any
you just
given
saying
moment, 10,000, or I'm sorry, at any given moment, 40,000 to 200,000 people in prison are innocent. At
that's wrong?
any
I mean,
given at any
that's
given
a whole
time.
thing.
So all those
That's a
people did not
problem. But
commit crimes. Now they're in prison. Are those is the prison just not prison for them?
no. I see what you're doing. I look, that's really unfair, and I really think with this we should find a way to improve the justice system and helping these people and changing it. But what I'm saying is the term prison literally just means a building for criminals. That is it. What you're saying is people Like it's those things that you're talking about exist, but it's just not for criminals, so you can't call it a prison.
Yeah,
But what I'm
this is
saying,
just
even what you're saying,
this argument is just semantical and circular at this point. Like you
but
keep
it
just
can't be
saying the
because
same
you
thing over and over
you
again.
literally agree with the definition I'm giving though.
No, I
I'm not
don't.
saying so you telling me what you explained by the definition I just gave you would not be considered a prison. I'm not talking about all the other things. I'm talking about a building that is held of criminals. Even if it's they taken care of, there's no slave things involuntary. You're actually helping these people. Who are these people? Are they not criminals in the building? That is still a
I just
prison.
told you there were 200,000 of them that aren't.
But you're saying people who got done wrong, and I agree that's messed up, right? But I'm not. You know what I'm talking about. You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Because even if you're saying your term, it's still if you can I can use the same thing that you're saying to me. I mean, I would just say, well, they shouldn't be in that. But you know what I mean? The term
Bro,
prison.
we're just going in circles right now. This has just become circular.
All right, okay. I mean, I really don't get how you can't actually
I
agree
understand
on
you
this
don't get
part.
it, but I've explained it to you like 4 times. Like
No, no, but
I don't know what to
I don't
keep.
understand how you don't get it though. Because
I
I
get
know
it
what you're
perfectly
saying.
fine. You just keep appealing to the definition as your response to my responses. Doesn't matter what I say, your answer is continuously, but this is what the dictionary says. This is what the dictionary says. This is what the dictionary says. When I've
But you're
already laid
it's
out
like you have a
groundwork as to why I disagree with what that says.
okay. Tell me. Okay, listen. All right. Tell me what in the definition that I just said is wrong in what you view prison as. A criminal in a building.
I've
That's it.
done this.
Tell me. Tell,
I've said that. I've
tell me.
literally answered this to you like 4 times.
Okay, can you repeat it? Maybe I didn't hear. Repeat that part in which I said those basically small sentences. Criminal in a building. Tell me what's wrong and why you don't
Because
consider
I
that to be.
believe, well, A, because not everybody in the building is a criminal, but B, when I'm looking at what prisons are in America, I believe them to be completely different thing based on the historical context of why prisons were founded here, how they run, and what they do. So in order to be a prison in America and engage in the prison system, you need to be a slave farm. And once we remove that and add on levels of rehabilitation, you are no longer the thing that was originally designed as prisons in America. Thus, I don't think you can call yourself a prison.
So what would you say is the best well, I can't use the word prison, but where in society have you seen something that has been done nicely? For
Norway has a very good prison system.
so you used to
How many times, bruh? I'm moving
you
on.
just used the you
I'm
I didn't
moving
even
on. I don't
say
know
the
how many
word.
fucking times I can say
But
in the
you said
context
I,
of America.
okay,
I don't know how many times I can fucking say that. Do I need to
but
print it on a fucking t-shirt for you? Do I need
so
to
you
hire a fucking plane with a banner behind it that says in the context of America? Do I need to spray paint it on the side of your home? Do I need to get a tattoo of it on my forehead?
so, but are you not hearing what you're saying though? It's like we're literally saying the same thing.
I can't do circular arguments, bro. I really can't, bro. I really can't. I don't know how many times I can say the exact same thing.